But of course, the Juja and Bonchari by-elections fell smack in the middle of a global pandemic that has changed every aspect of life. With a restriction on public gatherings still in force, officials have had to engage in a delicate balancing act of ensuring a free and open vote whilst observing the government's directive on COVID-19. Now, I want to bring in our Stephen Leto, who's live from Juja, to tell us a little bit more about what he observed as Juja registered voters went to the polls today in the midst of a pandemic, and also the latest results, Leto.
Well, thank you, Wahiga. Indeed, a night of a long wait that the candidates who have participated in the Juja by-election will be. Of course, the returning officer for the Juja constituency is already tabulating results from various polling stations. 184 polling stations in total. So far, 7 polling stations have reported their results, and as we speak, on the 7 polling stations, Moses Kuria's candidate, flying the People's Empowerment Party flag, George Koimburi, is taking an early lead of 387 votes out of a possible down there, and the second candidate coming in, the Jubilee Party candidate Susan Njeri Waititu, with 244. Remember, those are 8 polling stations that are reporting out of the 184. That is why I'm telling you, Wahiga, it's going to be a long night for the candidates who participated in this particular by-election, and the race is minute by minute narrowing down into 2 political parties. The People's Empowerment Party, led by Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, and having the backing of Deputy President William Ruto's allied UDA party, as well as the Jubilee Party that has Susan Njeri, the widow to the former Member of Parliament for Juja, Francis Waititu, who is flying that flag. But very quickly, Wahiga, there seems to be already a sense of, wait and see situation. The members of Parliament allied to the UDA party and also allied to Moses Kuria's People's Empowerment Party have already checked into the main tallying center in Mangu just to closely follow what the results will be like every single hour. Already we've seen Moses Kuria himself is in the house, and Ndindi Nyoro, the Member of Parliament for Kiharu, alongside others, have arrived in this building to follow the results. Wahiga, we will be waiting to see what all other polling stations will be like, but what we have seen is a low voter turnout, that by 2 o'clock we had as low as between 10 to 20% voter turnout. But like you put it, Wahiga, these by-election, both in Bonchari constituency as well as the Juja by-election, came in the midst of a global pandemic, and we went to various polling stations and just saw the unique bit or the unique change that the COVID-19 has been or has disrupted the election. And here now is our report on elections and the pandemic. Take a look. It is by-election day in Juja and Bonchari constituencies. These are highly populous areas according to both the IEBC data and the Kenya Bureau of Statistics. And on a day like this, the danger of COVID-19 looms large as people gather to cast their ballot. And by every estimation, these are still high-risk counties. According to the Ministry of Health, only 44,693 people have got the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine in Kiambu County, where Juja is located, while Kisii, the county that is home to Bonchari constituency, a paltry 9,333 people had got the first shot as at 21st April this year. And so there is not taking chances here. Early morning at the toll polling station in Juja, voters rushed in to cast their ballot before heading to work. But police and election officials had to move in to enforce social distancing.
There are various changes that we have observed today as we were casting our votes because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, as you get into the station, there is a direction on where to sanitize, something that we were not used to.
We drove another 5 kilometers to JKUAT Primary School, a polling center with 12 streams with 600 voters each, totaling 7,200 voters. Fasting at the entrance, an IEBC health officials holds a thermogun. Each voter must have their temperature checked before being allowed in.
In a very special way, there is one of the election officials that we introduced this time around. Ordinarily, we usually have 3 clerks for a by-election, and then once again one who is called queuing clerk. But now you found that there was one that was called COVID clerk, and his work was supposed to ensure that he gets the temperatures.
Further, before you are given a green light to the polling station, you, the voter, must wash your hands with soap and water.
Kuingia tu nimepata kuna hii mambo ya corona, watu wanaoshwa mikono. Immediately umeingia hapa kwa gate, kuna venye una sanitize hapa kwa gate. Then ukienda kwa the voting process, kuna venye bado ukitoka una sanitize.
This voter at the St. Francis Primary School Kalimoni Polling Center was denied access and forced to turn back to wash his hands. Officials say the life of every voter here is critical.
So what we did is that we ensure that in all the polling stations, we provided hand washing stations. We also provided sanitizers.
Hapa kwa kituo kila mtu anaoga, lazima uoge mkono, unaye mkono ndio uende pale uvote. Yeah. Then unapimwa temperature, inaonekana iko sawa.
Running water is gold in this by-election. Juja is in Kiambu County, which was part of the 5 that were classified as the disease-infected zone by President Uhuru Kenyatta in March this year, leading to a partial lockdown.
So that's what we did to ensure that at least we create a safe environment for people to come and vote. And then once again, the election does not become a super spreader.
Theta is one of the 184 polling centers in Juja constituency, but it's one of a kind. Here, the IEBC has deployed an open-air voting system. Everything happening under trees and tents. Officials say this will help social distancing, especially in highly populated centers. In the past, this polling booth would have been tucked away in a corner as a way of ensuring complete secrecy of the vote. Now, officials have to grapple with many more factors. The polling clerks, whose training ended on the eve of the election, are under strict instructions that they must wear their face masks at all time while attending to voters and put on their gloves to reduce direct contact with the voters. A similar adherence of protocols was also replicated in Bonchari, Kisii County.
For all the by-elections that have been conducted amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, things have drastically changed on how voting is done. For instance, hand washing is compulsory. Each voter must take a soap and wash their hands to ensure that when they get to the polling stations, they are safe from contracting COVID-19 or spreading the same to the clerks of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And with the COVID-19 pandemic still here with us, this could be the norm of all the by-elections and future elections. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV, Theta Chiefs Camp Polling Station, Juja constituency, Kiambu County.